Alright, sige. So, let's now continue with the other problems with our renal system. So, our next topic would be urolithiasis. So, when we say urolithiasis, or pag nakita natin yung word na lithiasis, so, ibig sabihin, ano daw meron dyan? Pag sinabing lithiasis, there is a presence of calculus or calculi, or what we call stone. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng bato. Okay? So, basta magkaroon ng lithiasis. And, mag-iiba-iba siya yung pangalan natin. Depende kung nasaan yung mismong stone or yung kidney stone. So, pag nasa kidney mismo, the term now will be used is nephrolithiasis. So, pag nasa kidney. Pag naman nasa ureter, uterolithiasis. So, ibig sabihin kung nasaan yung stone. If we can find yung mismong stone dito mismo sa kidney ni patient, so ayan. So, ibig sabihin, nephrolithiasis siya. Pag naman sa ureter, so yung part na to, yan. So, that what we call now na uterolithiasis. Okay? So, kaya wag pong malilito. So, yung urolithiasis, so general term siya. Okay? So, what are the risk factors sa pagkakaroon ng urolithiasis? So, pwedeng because of calciuria, diba? Hyperthyroidism, calcium-based antacids, and excessive vitamin D intake. Kasi nga, kung pag mataas yung calcium, diba? Ito, nagkakaroon ng calcium dun sa urine. Diba? Ano pa daw? Yung mga calcium-based antacids, diba? Tumataas na kapag increase din niya ng calcium. Same goes with hyperparathyroidism. Kasi nga, napuproduce yung calcium niya. And yan, yung vitamin D intake, di ba? So, sabi nga natin, di ba, pag mataas yung vitamin D, siya yung nagsisynthesize ng absorption of calcium. Okay? So, nagkokos siya ngayon, di ba, or nagkakaroon ng precipitate para magkaroon ng calcium deposits, and it could lead to stone formation. Okay? Dehydration. Di ba? Pwede rin po yan. Kasi di ba yung kidney or yung urine natin very concentrated. So, tumataas yung pagkakaroon ng pagkakaroon ng stone formation. Okay? UTI, especially if it's caused by Pseudomonas mirabilis natin, or nagkokos na masyadong alkaline yung urine natin. And ayan nga, positive yung mga calcium precipitate dun sa urine ni patient natin. Okay? Or pwede rin due to obstructive disorder. Halimbawa, yan, namamaga or enlarge yung prostate ni patient. Diba? Pag enlarge yung prostate, so, sumisikip na yung daanan ng ihe. And, nagkokos din siya or nagiging at risk din yung patient para mabuo or mag-form yung mga stones na yan. Also, gout. Because of crystallized or yung mga urate na yan, diba? Yung mga, yung mga gout na yan, nabubuo-buo siya doon, nagkokos din yan or nagiging at risk din si patient na mabuo yung mga stones. Okay? Osteoporosis. Diba? Bakit ano nangyari? Diba? Pag osteoporosis, what happen is, nagkakaroon ng bone demineralization. Instead of absorb yung calcium dun sa bone, so nagre-retain siya dun sa circulation. And once the calcium retained dun sa circulation, di ba, pupunta yan i-filter ni kidney. So, mataas yung calcium deposit sa blood. Okay? Prolonged immobility. Ayan. So, hindi siya masyado naghahagalaw. So, ano nangyari? Di ba yung emptying of urine, di ba, mabahagal? Or may nare-retain dun sa bladder ni patient na urine. Okay, so what are the clinical manifestations ng patient natin na may urolithiasis? There will be sudden, sharp, severe lung pain dun sa may likod ni patient. And the pain travels from suprapubic region and external genitalia. So, ibig sabihin, from dun sa likod niya, pababa, sumasakit papunta dun sa genitals ni patient. So, yung tinatawag natin na renal colic or sobrang sakit po niyan. Okay? Severe or severity of pain causes nausea and vomiting, and it also lead to patient na magkaroon ng shock. Diba? There will be chills, fever, and hypotension. Diba? Lalo kaya kapag merong infection na nadidevelop. Okay? There will be urinary retention or dysuria. Diba? Nare-retain or may natitirang urine, hindi completely na-empty yung bladder. Okay, mahirap umihi yung pasyente o masakit yung pag-ihi ng pasyente due to obstruction ng mga stones na yan. Okay, so what will be our diagnostics na gagawin? Okay, so urinalysis. So when we check the urinalysis or the result, diba, there will be gross or microscopic hematuria. May blood ulit dun sa ihi ni patient. Ano daw? pH conducive to stone formation. Diba? Sabi natin, nagiging alkali yung urine. Kasi naturally, diba dapat acidic yung urine ng isang tao. Okay? Increase specific gravity. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, sobra yung tumataas yung concentration ng ihi ni patient. So, mineral crystals or may mga cast dyan. Increase yung leukocytes pag may infection. Okay? So, ano pa daw? We also do the radiography or KUB dun sa patient natin. So, pag sabing KUB, tandaan, kidney, urethra, and bladder. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng x-ray or pwedeng ultrasound. Diba? Can do yung intravenous pyelography. So, diba yung kanina, sabi ko sa intravenous pyelography is x-ray na may inject na dye to see yung structure ng ating KUB para makita kung mayroon bang stone, mayroon bang bumabara dun sa mismong ureter, sa kidney ni patient, di ba? Or yung makikita natin. Or, ayan nga, ultrasound. Pwedeng ultrasonography. So, ayan po. So, dapat, ayan po kasi yung content ng ating ihi. So, it should be 95% water. Ibig sabihin, pag mas less yung water, mas etong mga to, ang mas ma-increase dyan, like yung calcium, yung urea, yan. So, pwede mag-cause po yan ng ating urolithiasis. And ito po yung itsura niya pag sininip natin sa microscope, yung mga urine crystals or urinary crystals that can be seen in patient. Di ba? Merong calcium oxalate. Ayan yung mga pang square-square na yan. Ayan. Uric acid crystals. Ayan. Diba? Madami siya. Or triple phosphate. Ayan. Yung mga malalaki masyado. Or cystine crystals. So, pag sinilin sa microscope, yan po yung mga makikita na urinary crystals dun sa patient natin. We also have your hyaline cast, erythrocyte cast, leukocyte cast, and granular cast. Yan yung mga nagbubuo-buo dun sa urine ng patient natin. Okay, so ito po yung intravenous pyelography. So, a dye will be injected to patient and then i-x-ray si patient. So, ibig sabihin, mag-glow ngayon yung part ng kidney, ng renal, ng urethra and kidney. So, yan, titingnan ngayon yan. Kung meron bang stone formation. Okay, sa x-ray, ayan, ayun yung stone ni patient. Diba? Hala, naging darna na siya. Napunta dun sa kidney ni patient. Okay, so, in urolithiasis, meron tayo tinawag na small calculi. So, pag maliit lang, sabi natin, it could pass naturally with no specific intervention. So, ibig sabihin, iiihi mo siya. Kasi maliit, kaya pang dumaan dun sa ureter and urethra ni patient. Okay? Pero, in pain si patient. Though, tolerable yung pain. Kasi nga daw, the size of the stone is around 50 mm or less. Diba? So, gumagalaw siya. Kaya, pwede siyang iihi. So, what we're gonna do is vigorous hydration para mailabas ni patient yung stones na yan. So, analgesic and opioids for pain reliever. Diba? Antimicrobial if there is infection si patient. Okay, pero meron akong kakilala, mas malaki sa 5 mm, parang 7. So, pinilit niya, inom siya ng maraming tubig, buko, sambong, basta puro pampaihi, pampadami ng ihi. So, naramdaman niya talaga, lumabas yung stone, sobrang sapdi daw. Tapos, pag-ihi niya, pag doon sa bawal, may kumalansing. So, ayun yung stone na ilabas na niya. Kasi nga, pag large calculi, malalaki na, what we gonna do is your extracorporeal shock wave or lithotripsy. So, dudurugin yung stone na malalaki para mailabas ni patient. Or pwede rin po yung laser lithotripsy. So, yun din. Same din yun, dudurugin yung stone para ma-excrete ni patient through urination. Okay, so para mas maintindihan, para makita nyo paano ba ginagawa yung extracorporeal shock wave na yan, tsaka laser lithotripsy. So, let me show a video presentation.
Your kidneys are two organs that filter your blood to make urine. Urine flows from your kidneys through the rest of your urinary tract until it is passed out of your body. Kidney stones can form inside your kidney from substances in your urine. Most are small enough to pass out of your body through your urinary tract. But some kidney stones get stuck when they're too large to pass. The stone can block your urine from flowing and cause a lot of pain. Extracorporeal shockwave lithotripsy is a way to treat kidney stones without having surgery that cuts into your skin. To begin, the exact location of the stone will be found using an X-ray or ultrasound device. Then the machine will aim shock waves at the kidney stone. Shock waves are high-energy sound waves that will break up the stone into tiny pieces. After the procedure, these small pieces should pass out of your body when you go to the bathroom. This should not cause you much discomfort. If you have any questions about
So, ganyan po ginagawa yung shockwave. So, ganyan po ginagawa yung shockwave tsaka laser lithotripsy. So, ibig sabihin, ang ginagawa po is dinudurog into smaller pieces yung stone para mas madaling ma-excrete nung patient natin. So, the difference is kapag shockwave, so sabi nga kanina, walang cutting na mangyayari kay patient. So, using sound waves, dinudurog yung stone. Pag laser naman, so, may pinapasok na instrument kay patient, like your cystoscopy or cystoscope, para ngayon, ma-visualize na saan, and then doon papadaanin yung small tube para yun yung magdudurog ng stone ni patient. So, kailan niya ginagamit yung mga yan? So, it's, dito, indicated for large or complicated obstruction. Ibig sabihin, sobrang laki niya, diba? Pero may UTI yung pasyente, may kidney damage, or nagbi-bleed na yung patient natin. So, what we can do is your percutaneous lithotripsy, percutaneous nephrolithotomy, or percutaneous uterolithotomy, or pyelolithotomy. So, tomy. So, may opening, may tatanggalin kay patient. Ay lit. Ibig sabihin, yung stone, yung tatanggalin kay patient. Diba? Kung nasaan siyang part. So, ibig sabihin, nasa ureter, nasa kidney ni patient yung mga kidney stones na yan. So, that's yung mga surgical. Ibig sabihin, ooperahan na yung patient natin. So, eto po siya kung paano ginagawa.
What is percutaneous nephrolithotomy? Percutaneous nephrolithotomy, or PCNL, is a kidney stone operation for large, multiple, and complex kidney stones. The doctor performs the surgery in a hospital operating room It usually requires a hospital stay of 1 to 2 nights. A PCNL typically lasts 1 to 3 hours. After you are under anesthesia, the doctor makes a small incision in your back. The doctor inserts a protective sleeve called a sheath through your back and into your kidney. The doctor then passes a video scope called a nephroscope through the sheath to locate, fragment, and remove the kidney stones. To help your kidney heal and drain urine during the healing process, your doctor may place a nephrostomy tube or a ureteral stent at the end of the procedure. A nephrostomy tube is a catheter placed in your kidney that connects to a drainage bag to collect urine outside of your body. The nephrostomy tube is usually removed prior to hospital discharge. Sometimes patients go home with the nephrostomy tube, and it is removed several days later during a follow-up appointment. A ureteral stent is a small plastic tube that is placed in your urinary tract to help control swelling and allow the kidney to drain urine. The stent typically remains in your body for 4 to 14 days and is then removed during a follow-up appointment.
So, ganyan po siya ginagawa, yung percutaneous. So, ibig sabihin, merong instrument na gagawin. And then, kapag nadurog yung stone, isa-suction palabas. And then, sabi nga, nilalagyan daw ng nephrostomy tube. So, temporarily, doon lalabas yung ihi ni patient habang pinapagaling yung kidney. Or pwede po yung urinary stent, di ba, from kidney, nagkakaroon ng passage, doon dadaan papunta sa bladder ni patient natin. Okay, next naman is open uterolithotomy. Or ito, left open uterolithotomy. So, 64-year-old male, gano'n daw kalaki. 2.5 cm by 9. Di ba? Ang laki na nung stone ni patient. So, yun yung kidney stones ni patient. So, na yan, layer by layer nila kinakat. Diba? So, ano nga yan? Yung instrument na yan? Nalala pa? Read them ninyo. Diba? Yung renal, pelvis, nahanap na. So, ayan na, ang bato. Nakita nyo, gaano kalaki yung kidney, yung stone dun sa kidney patient. So, that's why, ayan, naging problem, di ba, yung paglabas ng ihi. O, yan. So, hindi na siya isa, di ba? May kasama pa. Yan. So, ayun po yung nephrostomy tube. Yan. So, temporarily, dyan po dadaan yung ihi. Stent yung kinakabitatan nila. Yeah, stent. So, doon muna dadaan yung ihi papunta sa bladder ni patient para mag-heal. Kasi di ba yan, nagkaroon ng sugat dahil di ba inoperahan yung patient natin. So, sinecheck nila kung may bleeding ba. Ayan. O, dalawa, meron ng mid-drain pa yung patient natin. Ayan. So, yan yung nakuha na stone dun sa pasyente. Lit lang, no? Ayan. So, ayan, pwedeng gawing souvenir, no? Ayan, gawing pendant ng iba. Hindi, charot. Okay, pamana para kaya maging dar na. Hindi, joke lang po. Okay? Next, laparoscopic naman. Ayan, tatlo lang yung butas kapag laparoscopic surgery. stone na nakuha kay patient. So, ang ginawa po is laparoscopic and then through cystoscopy, di ba, nilagyan po ng stent si patient. So, ano pong maganda dun sa dalawa? Ano pinagkaiba nilang dalawa? So, mas maganda, mas fast po kasi yung recovery pag laparoscopy. Kasi kung titignan mo, di ba, 3 incision lang na maliit na incision. So, matatanggal na yung kidney stone ni patient. So, ayan po, post. Yan ang mga patient, di ba, sa x-ray na ganyan. Okay, may question po with regards to ureterolithotomy, yung pagtanggal po ng kidney stones. Na-visualize kung paano siya ginagawa, di ba? Yan. So, nursing process, sabi, assessment natin. So, check for the history of the patient, di ba? Pain intensity, yung location, nagkakaroon ba ng nausea and vomiting yung pasyente natin. Siyempre, vital signs. Ayan. So, tandaan, ano daw, yung urine is ina-strain or sinasala para makita kung may sumasama na kidneys o na stones during umiihi si patient. So, 3 main goal natin. So, diagnosis, planning, and intervention to improve the urine output of the patient. Ibig sabihin, gumanda, dumami yung output ni patient. Ma-relieve yung pain ng pasyente and ma-prevent na magkaroon ng infection. So, yan po ang urolithiasis natin. Okay, may question po ba? Clarification? All good. Sige, let's now move with your renal failure. So, ibig sabihin, failure. The kidney is now failing. Yung work niya, hindi na niya nagagawa. Sabi ito, inability of the nephrons in the kidney to maintain fluid and electrolytes, acid-base balance, excrete the nitrogen waste products, and perform the regulatory function. Ibig sabihin, yung trabaho ni kidney, nagpe-fail na. Diba? So, there are 2 types of renal failure. We have acute renal failure, which is sudden, rapid decrease in the renal function. Bigla-bigla na lang. And this is reversible with early and aggressive treatment. Ibig sabihin, kapag na-detect, nagamot agad-agad siya, pwedeng mabalik ulit yung function ng kidney ni patient. While in chronic renal failure, progressive naman siya. And this is irreversible. So, ibig sabihin, unti-unting nasisira yung kidney ni patient, tapos hindi na natin siya maibabalik to normal function ng kidney ng pasyente natin. Okay, so acute renal failure. Sabi natin, what are the causes? Meron tayong tinatawag na pre-renal, intrarenal, and post-renal. Okay? Pag sinabing pre-renal, pwedeng nagkaroon ng acute renal failure because of hypovolemic shock. Diba? During hypovolemic shock, diba, nagkaroon ng decreased blood flow going to the kidney. So, temporary, diba, pwedeng mag-shutdown yung kidney ni patient. Same goes with cardiogenic shock, secondary to congestive heart failure, septic shock or anaphylaxis. Or even dehydration or renal artery thrombosis or stenosis. Sumikip yung daanan or nagkaroon ng bara or because of nagkaroon ng cardiac arrest si patient. So, nangyari dyan, tandaan, nagkaroon ng decreased blood flow dun sa kidney ni patient. Or pwedeng lethal dysrhythmia, yung mga nakamatay na irregular heart rate or heart rhythm ni patient. Next, intrarenal. Kasi nga, nagkaroon ng decrease urine. So, ngayon, what happened? Nagkaroon ng ischemia. Kulang yung oxygen. Diba? Ano pa daw? Nephrotoxicity because of drugs. Yung mga ininom, ginamit nyo. Kadalasan yung mga aminoglycoside dyan nakakasira ng kidney talaga yan. Or due to acute or chronic glomerulonephritis. So, pinabayaan na lang. Yan. Polycystic disease. Okay? Untreated pre- and post-renal disorder. So, any problem na hindi na treat kay patient. Diba? Next is post-renal. So, nagkaroon ng, ano daw? Bulol. Ureteral calculi because of the kidney stones. Diba? Prostatic hypertrophy, lumalaki yung prostate ni patient or ureteral stricture, yung daanan sumikip. Or pwedeng due to tumor. It's either ureteral tumor or bladder tumor nagkaroon si patient. So, what are the 4 phases when it comes to renal failure? So, first is the initiation phase, oliguric phase, diuretic phase, and recovery phase. Kasi nga sabi natin, pwedeng mag-recover kapag may acute renal failure. So, initiation phase, which is begins with the onset of the contributing event. Diba? Ano yung nangyari? Diba? Baka, diba? Mga abstraction na yan. O, ano nangyari? Because of that, nagkaroon na ng decrease ng blood flow dun sa kidney ni patient. Kaya ngayon, nagkakaroon ng acute tubular necrosis. Nagkakaroon ng masisira o namamatay yung mga cells doon sa collecting tubules ni patient. Diba? Naalala pa yung descending and ascending tubules, convoluted tubules ng kidneys ni patient. And then after ng initial phase, diba, nagkakaroon na ng problem. So magkakaroon ngayon ng oliguric phase, which decrease na yung urine output, umuunti. So this usually begins 48 hours after ng initial cellular onset o yung nagkaroon ng necrosis. And it could be 10 to 14 days or longer. So what will happen? Nagkakaroon na ng fluid volume excess. Nagkakaroon ng hypervolemia. Kasi nga nare-retain na yung fluid. Hindi na i-excrete ni patient yung urine. So ano na ngayon nangyayari? Nagkaka-edema yung pasyente, nagkakaroon ng hypertension, and nagkakaroon din ng mga cardiopulmonary complications. Ibig sabihin sa baga, tsaka sa lungs, tsaka sa heart ni patient. Okay? Nagkakaroon din ng azotemia. Where, the urea and the nitrogenous waste in the blood is naiipon siya ng naiipon. And because pag naipon niya it could lead to neurologic changes. Diba? Nag-iiba yung mood, yung behavior ng patient. Pwede magkaroon ng seizure, coma, and pwedeng yan yung ikamatay ng patient natin. And then, decrease yung specific gravity o yung urine specific gravity ng patient. Nagkakaroon ng hyperkalemia, metabolic acidosis, and uremia. So, nagkakaroon na ng blood dun mismo sa urine ni patient. Diba? Sumasama na siya dyan. Okay, next is the diuretic phase. So, diuretic phase or diuresis begins at the nephron recover. Ibig sabihin, kapag nakarating si patient sa diuresis phase, nagsisimulang mag-recover ngayon yung nephron. So, kung nagre-develop, nagre-recover na siya, ano daw yon? There will be now increase in water content of the urine, but excretion of waste and electrolytes continues to impair. So, dumadami na yan. Kaso, hindi pa totally na-excrete ni patient lahat. Kaya mataas pa rin yung PUN, creatinine, calcium and phosphate ng pasyente natin. Okay? Pero, kapag na-surpass na yan, naman siya makakapunta kayo sa recovery phase, which is babalik na doon sa normal function yung kidney ng pasyente natin. Pero, pag hindi nakarating, hindi nakabalik doon sa normal, so it will now lead to chronic renal failure, which kidneys are extreme or extensively damaged na yung kidney. In chronic kidney disease naman, or chronic renal failure, there are 3 stages. We have the reduced renal reserve, which your nephrons, or 40 to 75% na lang ng nephrons, baliktad, 40 to 70% of nephrons are hindi na gumagana. Okay, pag renal insufficiency, 75 to 90% of nephrons are not functioning. So, ano ngayon nangyayari? Kidney loss ability to concentrate urine. Yan, kaya polyuria, nocturia, and anemia na yung nangyayari. Diba? Bakit may anemia ulit? Because of the erythropoiesis or the erythropoietin. Diba? Yung nag-stimulate ng RBC production or dun sa ating kidney para mag-produce si bone marrow ng red blood cells. And the third stage would be now the end-stage renal disease or the ESRD, where less than 10% of the nephron are now functioning. So, yun na lang yung gumagana. So, imagine mo, konti na lang. Diba? Regular course of dialysis na is needed or kidney transplant na kapag end-stage renal disease. So, hemodialysis na yung patient natin. Okay, so assessment findings, sabi natin, elevated yung blood pressure ni patient. Kasi nga, di ba, sabi natin, your kidney has a functional or a function na nagre-regulate din ng blood pressure natin. Weight gain, kasi nare-retain na yung fluids, di ba? O decrease yung urine output. So, there will be puffy face appearance. Kasi nga, because of fluid retention. Okay, pale skin, nag-a-anemia yung pasyente natin. Okay, GIT ulceration and bleeding, diba? Apektado na rin po yung gastrointestinal tract ng pasyente. Okay, there will be vague symptoms like lethargy, headache, anorexia, diba? Or nagda-dry yung mouth ni patient. So, there will be pruritus, dry and scaly skin. Because hindi na nakakapag-filter ng maayos yung kidney or hindi na nag-filter yung kidney. So, di ba, yung pag-excrete ng ammonia, ng mga ano-ano mga substance na yan. So, ngayon, sumasama siya sa circulation. So, i-excrete siya dun sa sa pawis ng pasyente. Di ba, kaya nagda-dry, tas nangangati. Di ba, dun siya napupunta. And the patient could have, urine breath odor. Mapanghi na yung hininga ng pasyente. Di ba? Muscle cramps, bone pain, or tenderness and spontaneous fracture can also develop. Diba? So, nasisira na siya. So, decreased mental process. So, there will be confusion, depression, seizure, and coma sa pasyente natin. So, diagnostics. So, yung mga electrolytes, abnormal. Diba? Increase yung blood urea and nitrogen, creatinine, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus ni pasyente. Okay, kapag sa CBC, sabi ko nga, decrease yung hemoglobin and hematocrit, same with RBC. Ayan, specific gravity ng urine tsaka pH. Diba, nag-metabolic acidosis yung patient natin. So, IBP, it will reveal yung dysfunction or renal dysfunction. Hindi siya gumagana. Okay, percutaneous renal biopsy show destruction of the nephron. So, kukuha ng sample, kukurot, hindi na talaga gumagana yung nephrons ni patient. So, radiography and ultrasonography demonstrate yung mga structural defects with regards to your kidney, urethra and bladder ng pasyente natin. So, renal angiography identifies yung obstruction, kung yun yung naging problem ng mga vessels na yan. So, management, prevention of acute renal failure, yan yung pinaka-importante. Kasi di ba sabi natin, yung acute renal failure, if not managed, it will lead to chronic renal failure. Okay? Risk for dehydration. So, adequate hydration of the patient. So, treat shock and hypotension as quickly as possible. So, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, di ba, pag in-shock si patient, kailangan maibalik yung blood volume or yung fluid or yung BP ni patient, maka-normalize ulit natin. Okay? Treat infection promptly. Diba? Hindi po inaalagaan yung mga infection na yan. So, continuous renal function monitoring. So, medical management. Ayan. So, dopamine. Diba? Inotropics or inotropin. So, para tumaas yung BP ng pasyente. Okay? So, hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis. Ayan po, hindi na talaga gumagana. So, diet. Low protein, high calorie, low sodium, low potassium. Kasi nga, di ba, hindi na nasi-synthesize. Okay? Kaya oxalate, IV infusion of insulin and glucose for hyperkalemia. Di ba, sabi natin, pag mataas, ito, di ba, pwede siya ibigay IV and pwede rin niya na enema. Pero dito, IV infusion na tayo, glucose and insulin. So, sodium bicarbonate or acid-base imbalance. Kasi, di ba, nagme-metabolic acidosis na si patient natin. Kasi nga, the kidney, hindi na siya nagpa-function. Diba? Yung pag-release ng hydrogen ions na yan. Okay? So, medical management of chronic renal failure is similar to that acute renal failure except lifelong treatment na siya. Unless magkakaroon ng kidney transplant kay patient para bumalik yung function ng kidney. Okay? So, sabi ko nga kanina, nagkakaroon ng chronic anemia si patient. So, binibigyan siya ng epoetin alpha. Kasi, para mag-trigger yung pag-produce ng RBC. Pero sometimes, kapag hindi siya nagpa-function, nagtatransfuse din kay patient ng RBC or the red blood cells. Ayan. So, usually yung epoetin alpha, sa una, once a week or twice a week. Depende kung gaano kasira na yung, hindi organo kababa na yung hemoglobin or yung anemia ng pasyente natin. Okay, nursing management, sabi natin, excess fluid volume related to impaired renal function. Diba? So, check mo yung weight ni patient, malamang magwe-weight gain yan. Diba? Output, umiihi pa ba? Diba? Lung sound, because of accumulation of fluids, diba? Check mo kung baka mamaya nagkakaroon na rin ng ng crackles yung pasyente. Diba? Yung RR, diba? Yung effort ng breathing niya, yung normal heart sounds, and yung jugular vein kung nagde-distend. Okay, monitor yung laboratory studies, diba? Kasi naging irregular na lahat, tumataas, diba? Yung BUN, creatinine, diba? Administer, prescribe diuretics and antihypertensive meds, and prepare client for dialysis. Kasi nga, hindi na nagpa-function si kidney. Okay? Imbalanced nutrition related to less than body requirements related to your anorexia. So, monitor and record clients' dietary intake. Diba? Provide, small, frequent feeding. So, unti-unti. And encourage client to involve with food choices and times for meals. Ibig sabihin, ano ba yung mga gusto ng patient? I-explain niya, di-discuss kung ano yung mga pwede at hindi pwede niyang kainin. Okay? Explain restriction and provide list of nutritional needs and acceptable food choices para maisip ni patient, ay, ito pala yung mga bawal kong kainin. Then, yan. So, ano yung mga pwede lang niyang kainin. Okay? May question po? Malinaw po? So, ayan ito yung old school na dialysis setup. Diba? So, na-dialysis yung pasyente. Pero ngayon, mas maliit na yung mga machine. Mga ganito na lang kalaki yung mga machine. Mas maliliit na siya. So, ito po, umiikot yung blood. So, ito yung ito yung dialysate. So, siya nagiging temporary semi-permeable membrane para mangyari dyan yung osmosis, diffusion, diba? Para ma-filter yung blood ni patient. Okay, naalala pa? Diba, diniscuss na natin. Yan. Okay, so ito po yung pag gawa na si patient, diba? Ito po yung atriovenous fistula or AV shunt natin. So, pinagdidikit yung large arteries and large vein, and dyan po i-hook si patient para magkaroon ng, ayan, siya yung ngayon naging dialyzer. Pag naman ito, peritoneal, so peritoneal space, ipapasok ko ganyan yung mga solution. Then, after few hours, so, i-remove yung fluid ni patient natin. Okay po, malinaw? Okay, so, nausea, sabi nga natin, nausea and vomiting, a feeling of discomfort in the pedestrian with conscious desire to vomit. So, yung nararamdaman pag gusto mong masuka. So, associated prior to vomiting. And then, vomiting naman, forceful ejection of stomach content from upper GI tract, di ba? Yan, yung ibig sabihin. Emetic center is your medulla. Siya nag-stimulate kung ba't ka nagsusuka. So, bakit? Di ba? Merong irritation sa intestine natin, or sa stomach, or yan, disequilibrium, disturbance. That's why pag lasing na lasing, sumusuka yung patient natin. No? Tractors, GI, ayan, CNS disorder, yan, meningitis, CNS lesion, circulatory problems like congestive heart failure, metabolic problems or disorders like uremia, yan, sa kidneys. Yeah, that's why feeling nauseated or nagsusuka yung patient natin. So, side effects of certain drugs, like yung mga chemotherapy drugs, pinaka-common. Or merong sa antibiotics na nagkokos din po niyan. Yan, pwede due to pain, yan, psychiatric trauma, or response to motion. So, dati, kala ko, ito yung parang mga kala ko RT lang. So, na-experience ko ito dati, due to depression, pag nakikita ko yung computer, dahil siya yung source ng stress ko, pag nakakita ko computer dati, nagsusuka ko. Yan. So, kala ko dati, hindi totoo yun. Pero na-experience ko, totoo pala siya. So, assessment findings, so sabi natin, patient could have weakness, fatigue, pallor, possibly lethargic na yung pasyente. Dry mucus, kasi nga, nilalabas niya yung suka siya ng suka. Diba? So, pwedeng ma-dehydrate yung patient. Kaya poor yung skin turgor na niya. So, serum sodium, calcium, potassium, decrease yan. Diba? BUN is elevated. Diba? Kasi nagde-dehydrate yung patient kaso suka. So, nursing intervention, maintain NP until client tolerate na yung oral niya o yung nakakapag-oral intake na. So, administer medication as ordered. So, ano yung mga gamot na nagkukos ng suka. So, yung pampatigil naman ng suka, di ba yung metoclopramide. Yan. So, para binibigay kay patient natin. And check pa rin yung mga side effects. So, notify the physician if yung vomiting is continuously nagsusuka yung patient. Maintain fluid and electrolytes. So, administer IV fluids kung as ordered. Record yung INO ni patient. So, record amount of frequency of vomitus. Gano'ng kadami, gano'ng kadalas. Ayan. Skin turgor. Para makita natin, nagde-dehydrate ba yung patient. So, monitor laboratory for an electrolyte values. Okay, test NG tube or nasogastric tube, drainage or vomitus per blood, bile or pH. So, check nyo, meron ba bang yung pH, ba't sinecheck? Kasi baka mamaya puro acid na yung sinusuka niya. Ayan, kasama na pala yung bile, may dugo na. Ayan. So, intervention, monitor, provide measures for maximum comfort. Institute frequent mouth care with tepid water or saline mouthwash. So, may na mouthwash para unti-unti, di ba? So, remove excruciations around nares. Baka may mga sabit-sabit dyan. So, intervention, keep head of bed elevated and avoid sudden changes in positions. Ayan. Eliminate nauseous stimuli. Diba? Ano ba yung nakakapagpa-anxious kay patient? Bakit ba siya nasusuka? Amoy ba? Diba? Yung mga nakikita ba niya? Diba? Sometimes, yun po yung problem. So, keep emesis basins clean. So, diba? Yung sinusukahan ng patient, nililinis. Maintain quiet environment and avoid unnecessary procedures. So, as much as possible, gawin na dapat yung lahat ng dapat gawin kay patient. So, when vomiting subsides, provide clear fluid. So, unti-unti lang muna. Small amount. So, pwede po ginger ale, warm tea. Diba? Huwag bibiglain. And then, gradually introduce solid food. So, magsisimula sa mga toast or crackers. Diba? Hindi agad mag-only rice. Okay? And progress to bland foods like yung mga baked potato, yung mga muna walang lasa o small amount. Then provide client teaching and discharge planning concerning ano yung mga concern ni patient. So avoidance of situation, foods and liquids that precipitate nausea and vomiting. Ano ba yung nagkakos? So avoid na yan lahat. So need for planned uninterrupted rest. So kailangan nagpapahinga yung patient natin. So, medication regimen, including side effects, di ba? Kailangan discuss natin. Signs of dehydration, di ba? Need for daily weigh with frequent anthropometric measurement. Kasi baka biglang pumapayat pala. Nagde-dehydrate na yung patient natin. Okay, next is diarrhea. Sabi nga natin, increase in peristaltic motility, producing water and loose formed stools. Kasi nga, galaw ng galaw. Hindi na nare-reabsorb yung water. So, kasama ng inilalabas ay pinupupo ng patient. Okay, diarrhea is tanda daw. This is a symptom of a pathologic process. Ibig sabihin, there is problem. Kaya nagdatai yung pasyente. Pwedeng due to, chronic bowel disorder, diba? Malabsorption problems, intestinal infection, or mga biliary tract disorder, or pwede rin hyperthyroidism. Kasi diba, increase yung pag may hyperthyroidism, mabilis yung metabolism. Ayan, saline laxatives. Ayan, magnesium, base antacids, stress, antibiotics or neoplasm, and high seasoned foods. Diba? Sobrang dami ng mga pampalasang nilalagay. Diba? Assessment findings, abdominal cramps or distension, diba? Foul smelling, watery stool, and sobrang sakit kaya sa increase yung peristalsis niya. So, anorexic si patient, walang gana. Thirst, tenesmus, diba? Anxiety. So, decrease potassium and sodium kapag severe, sumasama na nailalabas ng pasyente yan. So, nursing intervention, administer anti-diarrheal drugs. Sabi dito, dipenoxylate with atropine or yung Lomotil, parojoric or loperamide yung mga Imodium, or cowpectate as ordered. And tandaan, sa mga anti-diarrheal drugs, hindi agad-agad binibigay. So, ito pag mayroon mga dehydration na yung pasyente, pero kung kaya naman kaya pa ng ni patient yung matoral yung oral intake, di ba? Pwede pa naman po para mailabas na yung, lalo kapag infection, yung nagkukos para ma-remove niya. Pero pag hindi na talaga, mag-anti-diarrheal drugs. So, control fluid and food intake. So, avoid yung mga milk and milk products kasi lalong mag-stimulate yung acid, lalong bibilis yung peristalsis ni patient. So, provide liquids with gradual introduction of bland, high protein, high calorie, low fat, and low bulk forming foods. So, unti-unti lang po yung pagbibigay ng food kay patient. Okay? So, monitor and maintain fluid and electrolyte status. Diba? Kung gaano kadami ba yung sinusukan niya, ano ba yung sintsura. Yung tinatae, diba? Gaano kadami, kulay, diba? May buo-buo ba? Madilaw, maitim, maputi, mapula. Yan. And sabi natin, prevent anal excursion. Kasi nga, diba pag sunod-sunod, diba mahapdi na yan sa pet. So, cleanse rectal area after each bowel movement with soap and water and pat dry. Okay, apply ointment or Desitin to promote yung healing kapag sobra, diba, pag mahapdi na yung puwet ka, pupupo. So, use local anesthetics kung kinakailangan. Okay, so, ano pa daw? Provide client teaching on discharge planning concerning yung importance ng good hand washing technique, diba? Kada pupo. Need for report yung worsening symptoms, mga abdominal cramps na yan, diba? Kung palala ng palala, yung frequency, every 30 minutes, pupo na pupo, tapos tubig na lang yung lumalabas. Diba? And need to assess yung daily weight with frequent anthropometric measurement para malaman kung bumabagsak ba yung weight ni patient. Okay, may question po ba? Clarification? Concerns? All good? Sure? Okay, if you're all good, so thank you for listening. Sabi dito, we clean your blood and make your pee. Ayan, where your kidneys. Okay, importante po, alagaan natin mabuti yung kidneys natin. Nakita nyo naman ano ba yung mga pwedeng maging problem natin Diba? Kapag napabayaan yung kidneys po natin.